The Women Conquer Business Show is an educational, how-to women in business podcast that features stories, marketing news, and real-life experiences from fun and friendly hosts Jen McFarland and Shelley Carney. Join us as we dive into the details so you can slay marketing overwhelm, streamline processes, and amplify your impact. You'll learn strategies and tactics, leadership skills, and practical advice from successful women entrepreneurs to help you grow, nurture, and sustain your business. Hey, we did it! Welcome to Women Conquer Business. I'm Jen McFarland, joined by the lovely, wonderful Shelley Carney. And today we are going to talk about social media automation, the best productivity boosting marketing tools out there. These are all things that I've used for years. I was going to say decades, but that would be overstating it. So if you are sick of wasting hours every day on social media, and if it feels like you're not getting anything accomplished because of all the time you spend posting to your social media accounts, this is the show for you, because we're going to help you automate using the best tools based on a couple of different types of businesses. So I wanted it to be if you don't have a blog, if you want to have a social blog, or if you are like us and massive content creators, because there are some different tools that work differently and help you based on your needs. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. But let's get started and just check in for a minute. How are you doing today, Shelley?
I'm doing well. If you read my LinkedIn newsletter, you would know that Toby and I have been going through one of those times of the year when I say times of the year because it happens at least once a year, where he's retired. He's 73 years old, and he's my business partner, and he has been for the past 9-10 years. So there are times when he says, "Why am I doing all this work? I should be retired." But he gets bored so easily. He wants to have stuff going on in his life, but he's just not sure what, because he wants to leave a legacy, make an impact, have his life mean something. Yet at the same time, he wants to have fun and enjoy life and just relax. So he's having one of those crisis moments again. What do I do? Is this business worth sticking with? And this always gets to me. But it's like, but we're almost there, and and keep at it, and don't quit now. But so we go through this, and it's been one of those weeks. So I said to him yesterday, how about if we talk last night, we had our show that is our most loyal fans have stayed with us since like 2017, 2018. They've been with us through thick and thin, through pivot and yawn, and pivot and yawn like, sleepy. They stuck with us, and we are going to be sending them all an invitation through our newsletter on Tuesday saying, come join us on a Zoom call and tell us what you want from our content. And it's those people who stayed with you through thick and thin, who know what you've done in the past, who can tell you what they liked and what they didn't like. And they also lift you up, because they're like, I loved when you did this, and you're awesome, and I loved how you did. And you just like, you get that spring back in your step when you get that feedback, that positive feedback. So we're looking forward to doing that. And I'm hoping that it's going to help steer us to the right course.
I mean, that I'm a fan of that, and I shared with you that, because I do that with people a lot. I'm like, they're like, I wonder if this, or I wonder if that. And I'm like, well, have you asked? Have you asked people what social media platforms they're on? Have you asked what they want to hear from you? I think I've shared with you that when I send a newsletter and it's about social media, like I get like website spikes and people are doing it. I'm like, really? Social media? Gosh, I mean, and so I'm kind of like, well, I guess, and so now the podcast, we're talking about social media and automation, and all of that kind of stuff. But like, here's the other thing. And I shared this with you before the show, is like Ghost, they write the best newsletter, like hands down. This is my web hosting platform. And they say, like, who should be your first true fan? And they say it should be you. So it's kind of like, if if everybody's telling you like what they want, you know, and then but you still have to like it
That's true. Or you're not gonna wanna do it.
or you're not going to want to do it. Which
Mhm.
is why we don't talk about social media all the time
Yeah. Yeah,
because I don't
but
want to do
you
it all the
kinda have
time.
it down. I mean, when we first met, you told me some of this stuff that we're gonna talk about today, and it changed my world. It rocked my world, man. And,
Rocked it.
because
Yeah.
I started going, "Oh, this exists? Oh, I can get into this and do and it makes my life easier and it
Yeah.
saves me time. I love it."
And that's what we're going to talk about today is the part that I actually is my jam. I think that people like it when I talk more about I don't know, posting schedules and all that kind of stuff that like bloggers talk about all the time. What I'm really interested in is, and it's interesting, I did a podcast interview recently with the Launch Squad. I think I talked about it before. And the person who interviewed me said, "Well, I always think of you in terms of productivity." And I
Mm,
guess I guess it's because like ultimately I'm like, what's the point of doing all this if it's going to take forever? So
yeah.
that's really the part that we're going to be talking about today is like how to like do social media and be effective, but also not spend all of your time stewing about it. So
Mhm.
that's what we're going to talk about today. But there's something really interesting happening. Do we have sounds this week or are we going to do more?
Yes.
We
Are we ready
do?
for breaking news? We do.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Wait, oops. What's happening? There we go.
Ba, ba, ba. I love it. Okay. So and if you didn't catch our blooper last week, that was like the best ever when we during an inspirational nugget. So but yes, we have breaking news music. So there's an interesting going on with search right now, which is that younger generations are using Reddit, Instagram, and TikTok instead of Google for search.
So are they looking for, like, video recommendations from people they trust? Is that what it's about?
So it says it's just like when they're looking for a place to go to lunch, when they're looking for a product recommendation, when they're looking to buy something, they say that 40%, and this is according to Google's own research, that up to 40%, maybe more, don't even touch Google. They go everywhere else to look.
Hmm.
And it's interesting because now there are people even in search who, and it's like so funny to me because I wouldn't think of Reddit. Please, Reddit is not that is not the best place to look for like legit answers, I don't think.
Mm,
But some people in search will type in, like social media, Reddit, and try to get advice that way too.
hmm.
So it is something that is changing. And so what you're going to see if you do use Google, which most people still do, they are starting to change the face of Google. So it's becoming much more visual. It's going to have a lot more videos. So if you make videos, this could be really helpful for you. And they're changing it to try and adjust to younger users. Now, the genie may be out of the bottle somewhat. So if you are really working with and talking to people in Gen Z, which are again like 10 to 23-year-olds, and I would say maybe even a lot of people under 30, you might be looking at things like TikTok and Instagram really because and most people are doing Instagram, but TikTok, it's still not as popular as everybody's talking about it,
Mm.
So you might be looking at that, and that includes things like local search. So, TechCrunch talked about it. My friends over at nearmedia.co talked about it. It's kind of everywhere. So it used to be if you were a small local business, it was Google Business Profile 100%. It was, being on things like Facebook. And now we're finding that if you are trending toward a younger demographic in general, and of course everything's in general, you still want to ask your people, they are using tools like TikTok for even local search. And we know from just Google statistics in general that like almost half of all Google searches are for something local. So that's why your marketing should really, even if you are an online business, you should still be conquering your local space, conquering your local space because you know that everybody's searching locally. So then you kind of branch out from there. But I just find this fascinating that and Google, I think, kind of felt that this was gonna happen because they have started picking up TikTok and Instagram videos. We talked about it on an earlier episode. They have started picking that up as part of um their search, so you can find it in search.
That's interesting.
Videos,
It's
video
kind of
content.
like it reminds me of every generation, it seems like, has its rebellious uh, label. Like, say, in the 50s, 60s, you had that youth generation. I don't want to listen to your fuddy duddy music. I want to listen to rock and roll. We want to dance like we want, footloose. And then we want to, and then, all the way to hipsters, right? We like everything retro, and we're not going to go and do what the old fuddy duddies do. And now it's this. It's we like the listening to our friends on TikTok and Instagram and finding out what they like instead of just relying on Google, which is so full of ads that you can't even trust them.
Well, it
Never trust
is.
anybody over the age of
Yeah.
30, man.
Well, I mean, like, John Oliver even talked about it, how, like 40% of everything above the fold now on Google is an ad.
It's
So
true.
if you're looking for something that's not an ad, like, why would you go to Google if you just want it quick and you don't wanna scroll? And there've even been court cases about, like, the local pack. So it's kinda like you always wanted to be in that 3 pack, which is, like, the map and the 3 businesses. And now there've been lawsuits about that. Like, Google in Europe, forget about it. There've been all these lawsuits. So, I mean, Google, I'm not gonna, I wrote a newsletter about this, like, is Google dead? And I think I said it's not dead, but it's changing,
Yeah.
and with cookies going away and all kinds of stuff, like, how we do it changes. And I just think it's interesting. Like, so does that mean, are people going to YouTube? I mean, I think that's still the top social media platform is YouTube, but the younger generations aren't necessarily going to YouTube to search. So again, it is about finding out where your people are and then, like, going there.
Yeah, I feel like
And
YouTube is the most uh, gathering place. It's the most likely gathering place for all the generations to come together.
yeah, well, I mean, everybody kind of understands YouTube, I think. It's just a
Yeah,
good,
and there's
yeah.
something for everybody there.
So,
Yeah.
I don't see any breaking news in our little show flow for you. Do you have any?
I don't. I'll talk about something that I did this week. I created a free download, and I'll talk about that when we get to after the training.
Okay.
That's really my only breaking news, but I'll just save it.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Are
I'm
you
saying
ready
ready
for the
for
training?
presentation training. Was that it?
All right.
I don't know
I don't
why
know. They're
these
they're
are
all
off a little
powering
bit.
up.
They're
So,
all a little bit slow to go. I'll do them twice. I'll just do them twice.
I am hoping that there's some people watching out there that can ask us questions. And if you're listening, I will go through this in a way that I hope is still translatable into listening. Also, know that all of the videos are not only on YouTube, but also on womenconquerbiz.com/podcast. You can go in episode by episode. If you haven't been picking us up on YouTube, this is the type of show that would be good to get some questions as we go. But if not, that's okay. You can write us an email and send us questions. You can comment on the video if you watch it later and give us questions, and we're happy to answer them any step of
That's
the
right.
way.
Or LinkedIn. I was on a LinkedIn Live the other day with people from
Yeah.
the Tilt, and they were talking about their new content creator benchmark research, and I put in there in the chat that I've been talking about this on my podcast. I've been putting it in my newsletter, and Pam Pulizzi said,
Oh, yeah.
"Please send links." So I was like, "Oh yes, I
Oh,
will."
okay.
So
No, that's awesome.
she now knows about Women Conquer Business, and she now knows about messages and methods and my LinkedIn newsletter. So I was pretty
Which
excited
is
about that.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to share it. You have to tell people about it. And that's really
Yeah.
what all of this is about, is how do you get your social media automation going so that you can spend your time engaging? I mean, that's really the what you're trying to do. You're trying to create things. And I actually have a slide about this. Boom.
Ooh,
The goal is to
fancy.
get out there quickly. Okay.
Mhm.
So, what it means is if you are creating a video, if you are creating a podcast, if you have some writing, if you have an event, all of the things. The way that you get it out there quickly, and I think most of you know this, but in case you don't, I do work with some new businesses who don't use a scheduler, is you use a social scheduler and then it helps you get everything out there quickly. And you'll notice that I kind of ran out of places for icons. So I'm just acknowledging that you can post to Google Business Profile or YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I mean, there's just so many places that you can post to. There's OnlyFans, there's all kinds of spots. We're kind of going with the major ones here. So we're talking about Facebook, Google Business Profile, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, of course, and Pinterest. So that's the goal is that you get your stuff, you create it, you put it in a social scheduler, and then the next step is it's automated or as automated as possible. And then you can you can be commenting and engaging and asking questions and driving people to the content that you're sharing on social. Oftentimes, and this is something that people tend to miss or forget or maybe don't know, you also want to make sure that you're driving people to things that are mission critical from your social media. A lot of people post things and are like, "Oh, isn't this a cute puppy video?" and or whatever. Or maybe somebody else's article. You do at least once a week want to be driving people to and hopefully more than that to your website, to your newsletter because these are spaces that you own and not just keeping people always on that platform. Now there was some reporting that came out this week that I saw among kind of the LinkedIn influencers that I've been following that are talking about how you have a diminished return if you are the first commenter, if your first comment is a link to your website. There are a lot of people who use some of these different tactics. They have been found to be not as effective, but from a time saving perspective, if you can post and then add your first comment using one of these tools that we're going to talk about, there's nothing wrong with that. Just know that you'll get like a diminished return. If somebody's teaching you that you can do that and you're like tricking the algorithm, that's not really true anymore. It used to be, for those of you who don't know, you could post something on like LinkedIn and then you could like it and comment on it and put your link in and like it would just look at that as like engagement and it would boost it up more. That just doesn't exist anymore. The algorithms are too smart for that now. They know when you're doing that. So now that we've talked about kind of the big goal, let's just talk for a second about if you are getting started, if you don't have an active blog, and these are both great starter options that you can use forever. So the first one is Buffer. Amazingly, I mean, Buffer's been around for forever, and that's at buffer.com. They still have a free plan, which is amazing to me, especially when you consider a comparable company, also excellent, Hootsuite, now no longer really has a free plan. And it's like $50 a month. And they're both very advanced and they both are scalable that you can use forever. So Buffer still has a free plan, and then it starts at $5 a month per channel. So if you have just one channel you're focusing on, which a lot of people are in the beginning, $60 a year, you're set, right? And you can post to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and TikTok, one or all. And then they have an interesting integration with Shopify, which I think is really cool. So if you have a Shopify website, make sure that you are using Buffer. It's a really good option for you. If you are also the other option, if you're getting started, is Later, and that's at later.com. They have a very limited free plan, and then it goes into $18 per month. The thing about Later that's interesting is it's really focused primarily on visuals. So if you're creating reels, if you're creating something for Pinterest, if you're creating something visual like Instagram, it used to be that Later was really just for Instagram and Pinterest. That was it. Then they added Facebook, and then it was only fairly recently that they added LinkedIn. I used to teach this to people and like there was no LinkedIn option. So this is a really good option as well when you're getting started because they have kind of a limited free plan. And they also have all of the visuals, but then you can grow into things if you decide that you don't want to be as visual. The real selling point for later, and it used to be available as part of their free plan. I think it still is, but I'm not sure because I have a free plan from years ago. So I kind of get into things sometimes. They have something called LinkedIn.bio, not LinkedIn, like LinkedIn.bio. So one of the things that is a downer about Instagram is you can't put a link in the comments or descriptions and have it be clickable. This changes it so you can say link in bio with your Instagram. And if they go to your bio, you can add the link instead of a link to your website. You add a link to your link in bio, and it will link. If you add the link in later, you can add the link and it'll go to that blog post, it'll go to that podcast, it'll go to whatever from there. So if you're really into Instagram, later is the platform for you. Again, this is something else that can get you started, but and you can use it forever. So um, they're both pretty easy to understand. Um, those are your two options in terms of getting started. Did you use either of these? You probably skipped ahead to
I
fancy
tried
platforms.
Buffer a long time ago, and I don't know, I just didn't stick with it.
Yeah. You know, it's easy for people when they're getting started. That's what's great about it. So the second option, the big hot tip time saver, and I know this is tiny. You really don't have to read the screen. This is so you know what you're looking for. The big time saver with any platform. So any of the ones that we've talked about before, Buffer, later, or any of the ones we're going to talk about in the future. This includes Hootsuite, all of the major platforms. They let you add your RSS feed to your scheduler. So what this means is if you have a blog or if you have a podcast or you make changes to your website, you add a blog maybe. You can add this and then the scheduler picks that up from your RSS feed, which is kind of how it checks if there's something new, and it will create like a post for that. And the way that you can tell is so typically it's your whatever your domain is. So domain.com/RSS or domain.com/feed. And the way you can tell is it comes out as this XML gobbledygook, all this coding, and that's how you know. And so you do that because then you're allowing these platforms to create the first post for you. And it's typically like the name and the link. And then you can like type in something elegant, fancy, whatever you want after that. But this can save you a lot of time. It can also tell you if you've kind of forgotten to post like something. And then for some of these tools that we're going to talk about in a minute, having your RSS feed added can really be a big time saver when you go to auto generate like social media campaigns or a lot of information that you're pulling from your website and pushing out to all of your social platforms. So no matter what, make sure that you add your RSS feed to your scheduler because it can make a really big difference. And I see Shelley writing it down, so I don't know if that means she hasn't done it or what.
No, I'm just, I'm writing down the little notes so I don't forget some things. But, yeah, the RSS feed, not only to your social media scheduler, but to your email provider, because I know on SendFox, it will create an
It
email
will.
for you based
Yes.
on the blog post you just posted. It's like, "Here, how about this?" And it contains the whole blog post, and what I'll
Yeah.
usually do is cut the bottom half of the blog post off and then leave the read more on there and then send
And
that
people
out. It's
can
super
go.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do that. You can do that through ActiveCampaign. You can do that through MailChimp. I think
A lot of them,
MailerLite,
yeah.
a lot of them. With Ghost, I get that option when I go to publish a new blog post. And it's like,
Mhm.
do you want to email this out to everybody? Do you want to just post it? It kind of gives you those
Mhm.
options. So there's a lot of different ways to make sure that that gets out there. So if
Yeah.
you are a content creator, like and you don't have to be a blogger, but if you have a blog and a business. So for bloggers, podcasters, live streamers that want to auto generate campaigns. So this could even be, you don't have to be a professional blogger for this. You can be like us and have businesses and just create content. You want platforms that can auto generate campaigns that will stretch out over time. And there's probably a lot of different ways of doing this, but my two favorites, and both founders were on this podcast. Toot toot. That's my own horn, tooting it for a minute. And they're both awesome. I have a longer term relationship with Kate Bradley Chernus. She's really rad and she's really dedicated to great writing and building a great product. But MissingLettr is really amazing too. And we'll put the links to those two episodes in the show notes so that you can hear about their journeys. Ben is really from MissingLettr is really interesting because he talks about how to take your ideas all the way to launch in 6 weeks. Kate Bradley Chernus talks a lot about being a woman in the VC environment and how she's managed to raise millions of dollars to make Lately go. And so both of them are very inspiring podcast episodes. So let's talk for a minute about MissingLettr. I have a few things here to show you the process for how it works. So MissingLettr does not have, well, I think they may have a very limited free product. But typically it starts at $19 and goes up to $59 per month. And if you want to take advantage of their content curation feature, which means it's kind of like a podcast or a content distribution or syndication. That's what Curate does. That's at the $59 price point. But what MissingLettr does is it takes your RSS feed, which we just talked about, and it will auto generate based on what you want. A 2-week blast, meaning 2 weeks of social media posts going out to your platforms, 2 months, 6 months, or 12-month campaigns, and they go straight out. So let's take a look at this for just a second. So they do have like a forever free plan. They have the solo plan, which is, your workplace. And again, it does up to 500 scheduled posts, but it doesn't include the curate posts. So what that does is it gets it syndicated out. It's a way for your posts to get found. And I can show you that because I use it for that. So what I like about MissingLettr is here's an example of an active post that I have out there. It is my blog post that I wrote called having a privacy first website and why that's important. And I created a year. It's an evergreen post. It doesn't matter when it goes out. And so I created a year-long campaign for this. And what you're seeing here is we're at about day 90. So it's probably going to send something else out. And I've scheduled out 9 posts to go out over the course of a year. And 6 of them have been sent and there are 33 clicks. So I'm getting like a sense of that, of how that's working. If I go into Curate, which I also have, if I go over there, I believe somewhere in here, you'll be able to find, and I go to promote, you'd see all of our old podcast episodes are in here. And somewhere in here, you'd be able to find, all of the different posts that I've done, how many of them have been queued by other people, how many shares there's been, and how many clicks. So that's what's great about Curate is I can take my post, I can schedule it out to my network, then I can schedule it and promote it through the curated network and have even more shares. So, and it's really been useful for the podcast because we can look and we can see, last week's post about expanding your reach has 61 queues out there. So that's like 61 other people that we don't know have scheduled it to send it out. So that's
I
pretty
have to
effective.
caveat that I might be one of them
You
because
might
I'm
be
also
one of
on
them.
MissingLettr and I do the curate and I get your stuff and I'm like, absolutely put it out there.
Yeah, I'm going to post that, but it's a
right.
great way to kind of check your clicks and stuff. So I just had a new blog go out yesterday and I have this scheduled to be a 12-month evergreen post. I can add hashtags to it. I can change these hashtags. They're kind of the standard ones. I can select whatever media. So MissingLettr is pulling in any of the pictures that I have in this post. This is about writing an effective business plan in 10 steps. It's for Epiphany courses. And then I can select the quotes. So look at how easy this is making it for me. It's taking quotes directly from the blog post and saying, is this a good is this a good post? And I can click on any one of these and edit it and make some changes to it. And then the ones that I select, I just, you know, add it. And then when I'm ready, I tell it to build the campaign and it will build it and it'll start posting. So that essentially is what MissingLettr does. It takes the work out of taking a blog post and posting it multiple times. One of the things that Ben talked about when he was on the show was that the real problem that MissingLettr solves is that many people who write a blog post only shared it once on social media, and then they get frustrated and they think, well, nobody's reading my blog. And the reason that happens is you have to share things multiple times, especially now. You have to share things over and over and over again because so few people are actually seeing any of your content, because social media is becoming more and more pay to play. So that's just a fact. So you have to share things several times, kind of zhuzh them up, make them sound a little different every time. And that's how you're really going to get some engagement. Right, Shelley? Are you still
Oh
there?
yeah. Yeah. I love this stuff. It's like, set it up and just forget it for a while and then go check on it every now and then if you make any changes to your, programs.
Yeah, and you don't have to forget it because you're going to be engaging with the people on social. So you're kind of always faced with it, right?
Oh,
So
yeah, I always see it, and I'm like, "Oh, there's the post, let me share it again," and yeah.
exactly. So the second program, and if you follow me on social media, you're not going to be surprised by this at all, is called Lately.ai. I love this platform immensely. I loved having Kate on the show. So what they do is, and they were doing this before everybody else out there. So you can see, like, now there's all kinds of AI programs out there that are, saying that they're doing all this great stuff with AI. They will write for you and everything. Lately was doing it first. It was the first one that I knew about. It's a trained AI writing assistant, and now it is integrating with Hootsuite and HubSpot. It's fantastic. So what this does for bloggers, podcasters, and live streamers is something very unique. So let's take a look at Lately. So if you look here, I mean, the graphics are great too, because it really just speaks to how so many of us feel, right? Like, head down, white flag up. I'm not, I can't do the social media anymore. So it learns the words that get you the most engagement, and then it repurposes your videos, your audios, and your text. And it makes dozens and dozens of posts. And you're like, well, that sounds an awful lot like MissingLettr, except it's not. So where the statistics and analytics are very basic inside of MissingLettr, it's great for someone who's starting a blog or somebody who is kind of new to, like, an environment. What you get in terms of analytics and Lately are phenomenal. Like, you're getting, like, when to share. So instead of looking and seeing, like, well, no, you have to read posts and they say post at this time. What you're seeing here is actual data of, like, the top days of the week for what performs the best. You're seeing what times of the day, when are people engaging. You're seeing the top keywords for how people are responding to your different posts. So it kind of gives you a sense of what people are looking at, what's most engaging for other people, for your followers. And then you just have a real sense of, you know, engagements by mentions, all of this kind of stuff. So you can take a look. You can see that, my Facebook and Twitter accounts are off the hook in terms of, compared to other accounts in terms of engagement and things like that. You're not finding as many of the personal accounts, but you can see the performance based on different things. So you can get a real sense of what you should be doing and when in Lately, in a way that I think is very unique among, social media platforms. The other piece that is incredibly unique to Lately is the main reason why you know, MissingLettr, I don't pay for. I got it through AppSumo. I probably would have let it go if I hadn't, but I don't have to pay for it, so it's there. Lately, I've paid for it for years. I do it because of the podcast and because of the videos and everything. So what you can do is you can upload any audio or video. You can also it connects to your RSS feed, so it'll pull in your blog posts, and it will use AI to help you kind of, you know, zhuzh it up for social media, and then you go in and edit it. But the real trick here is that you can just upload your content. You say, it will go in, it will create a transcript. You can view and edit your transcript, and then you can click generate. And so, what it does when you click generate is you're shown a screen and you put in here like the title of the source. It pulls in the transcript so you can like kind of go through the transcript and look at it. And then you can tell it attach video clips. And this is like the thing that is like so crazy is it will go through and it will clip the video to specific sections of what you have created and give you a social media post on top of that. So in the past, before Lately did this, if you would have to spend hours and hours of time if you had a podcast or if you had a a live stream video of any kind, you would have to go through and manually clip out videos. It stinks. Nobody wants to do that. This will automatically do it, and it will add some padding around the videos. So after I go through, I put in my tags and I put in, shortener, all kinds of different information. Then the next step is ta-da! I see auto-generated posts along with the video clips below it. I can then go in and I can edit it, and I can make some changes. I can make it sound, maybe more like me or less like me. And then I can look at the clip and I can adjust the clip as well. So if you look at this, I think it says, it's giving you the clip, and then at the top, what I see is a little piece of writing taken from the transcript that's related to the clip below. It's fantastic. So it makes it very, very quick and easy to generate. And it's generating like, I don't even know how many posts. So I usually pick like 5 or 10 posts and schedule them out. More if I have time. But it says here at the top, generated 219 posts and saved you 43.8 hours. I think that undersells it. I think it saves more than that. And then from here, you make some changes and schedule it out. And the scheduler from Lately will automatically schedule it based on when you get the most engagement. It'll do number of posts per week, per day, whatever. Or it can also integrate with Hootsuite. And when it integrates with Hootsuite, you get even more tools to help you improve your writing and send it out to social. And that, my friends, those are the two tools that are phenomenal if you are a content creator for getting your content out there as quickly as possible.
Yay.
Did I just blow your mind?
Oh, it was just like, oh, those are the ones. Because everybody always wants to know which ones should I use. And I'm always kind of like, well, use what works for you, but I don't know what's going to work for you. But you're just like, do these and it'll work for everybody.
Well, it won't work for everybody. In fact, we have like another option here,
Okay.
which is the social blog option. We talked about these tools lightly last week, but there's a new trend in social media. It's pretty hot right now about creating a social blog. So if you are on social media and you've noticed that the posts are getting longer, they're maybe a little more in depth, they have maybe a little bit more thought leadership in them. There are tools specifically for that. We talked about these last week on the show. They're called TypeShare and Hypefury. Typefully is another one. If you want to do something like that and you need some templates to help you generate specific types of posts that you're seeing out there right now, particularly on LinkedIn and Twitter, Hypefury and TypeShare are two of them for that. I'd encourage you to listen to last week's show where we talk about these tools in a little bit more depth. TypeShare gives you writing templates that help you with atomic blog posts. They help you with tweet threads. Hypefury also is very Twitter focused, and they help with like tweet threads. They also do auto plugs, scheduled replies, and helping you kind of manage the Twitter machine. They have analytics. They have different templates that kind of help you. You can take a look at what other thought leaders are doing, and they are very helpful. Very helpful for that. The other thing is, because I think the last one is, yeah. The other tool I did want to mention quickly is called repurpose.io. I love this tool. Repurpose.io will help you make connections among tools so that you can create workflows to make your life easier. So you'll see that you have the option of adding things like an audio podcast, a video podcast. You can connect things to Libsyn, Captivate, the Binge Network. Word you can post to WordPress. You can also do all the social media accounts, so Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you can also pull things from like Zoom and all kinds of stuff, and you can send a workflow to make different things happen. The way that we use that for this show in particular is we take the YouTube video and we send it over to Captivate. So then when we are in Captivate, there's actually an option in there to open it up into script if we wanted to like clean up some of the filler words and things like that. This automates the process so that we don't have to spend the time downloading all of the content out of StreamYard and then re-uploading everything up into Descript or Captivate. And so if you look here, it's automatically sending it. We can view the content that it's sent over there, and we can republish it if we made a change or something like that. This tool is really phenomenal for making things quick. The other it just does it automatically, and then you just go to that landing place and you don't even have to think about it. The other thing we use it for is the Facebook videos. This is one of the things we do with StreamYard. If we want to do some clips that are more specific, if we don't want to use what's going on in Lately.ai for that, we can also generate specific video clips. So what you can see here, and this is super easy to do, we can make snippets. And if you go through, you can see, like, I went a little snippet crazy on one of these previous podcasts. But after I generate the snippets, it sends them automatically to a Google Drive folder where Shelley and I can pick them up, and then we can share them if we want. What is so cool about this is we have set up a template in Repurpose. So this template has a headline. I can edit the headline in here and it will take the captions. So what I do is update when Shelley sends me the transcript. I update the captions in Facebook. So then all of the ums and ahs and all that kind of stuff. So and it spells Shelley's name right. It says Women Conquer Business. All of that is done, and then I upload it and it automates it in Repurpose and makes it a box. So it's a very nice video then that we can share out on social that's sized appropriately for all social media. It's wonderful. And it's nice to have the captions, because the thing about video is everybody likes video, but a lot of people don't have the sound on. So with video, it's nice to always have the captioning going. And then what we do is I always do a full length video. And then this is what I actually send over to Lately, is a full length video with the captions. It's a cleaned up transcript. And then we take that, and that's actually what is being clipped in Lately. As you can see over here, it's the headline of the post of the podcast episode clipped to speak to a specific item within the podcast show. So this automation, I can't even tell you, it saves a phenomenal amount of time. And then what it does is it makes it so that you can engage, review the analytics, and then iterate on it. So one of the reasons that all of these tools that we've talked about are the ones to look at is that whether it's Buffer or Lately.ai or Hype Fury or MissingLettr, they all have some sort of analytics, something that you can look at to see how popular was this post and what is it that I need to do to make it better, make it resonate more. Sometimes I use the topics in what happens in MissingLettr, how many people are sharing it, and curate. And I'm like, okay, well, that topic didn't hit. So maybe we shouldn't do a whole series of the podcast about a specific topic since nobody liked the first one, the more you can share, the more you can automate, then you can be iterating on it and be thinking about what it is that you're creating. You can get really excited about certain topics. You're getting a lot of information that can really help you then become better at what it is that you're doing. The end.
That's the
So
last one?
that was the
That's
last
the end?
slide. That's the
Oh, okay.
end. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So either I scared everybody away or they passed out from the amazing automation.
It blew their minds and
It blew their minds and they're like passed out on the floor. We didn't get a lot of questions, um, probably because of they're like Shelley and taking notes. So,
right,
um,
exactly.
excuse me, I think that this has been helpful. This is a lot of, oh, it's exactly what I do in different pieces and parts. And when I don't have as much time, I just go with whichever one is the quickest. And that's what you kind of need to do. I would suggest that you test a lot of these tools, find what works best for you, and run with it.
That's right. It does take some testing and, you do kinda have to keep an eye on things, and sometimes links break, and you have to go in and adjust, and sometimes you change, your RSS feed because, you decide to go from one channel over to another channel and from one, playlist to a different playlist. So you have to, make sure you're still adjusting those things as they come up. Um, I picked a few actually off of AppSumo when I got started into it. I do have MissingLettr, but I don't have the full suite that Jen has, but I do have it, so I understand how it works. So that's helpful for if I need to go into the Women Conquer Business one and work on it. I have one called Feed Hive, which I really only use when I wanna just send something out, boom, here. And then I have Social Web Suite, which brings in all the RSS feeds and sends things out automatically. So that's the one I just kinda set and forget.
Oh,
So I
that's awesome.
kind of, a smorgasbord when it comes to that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that that's what we all end up with, I think, as entrepreneurs, is we kinda end up with a whole bunch. It's like a buffet of social media tools, and then you find that you kinda settle on 1 or 2,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
you want ones
definitely
that fill in the gaps that the other ones might have.
exactly, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so that is what I have. Do you wanna
Mhm.
talk about you kinda left us, like, hanging there, like, you had, like, something that you were gonna talk about after the training. What you
Okay.
got?
Okay, well, let me explain. So as a content entrepreneur coach, I get asked certain questions again and again from content creators who are new and they're wanting to understand, okay, so how can I stand out online and connect with my target audience? And they want to know, how do I quickly create engaging content every week without getting overwhelmed? So I created a framework that's based on my years of practice and what I do, and I'll just quickly share that on screen. There. Oh, there. There it is. So it's a framework and a schedule. It shows you in an infographic, you take this, start with the live stream, and here's where it goes, and here's what you do with it, and then here's what you end up with. And then the scheduler tells you, okay, Monday you do these 3 things, Tuesday you do these things, Wednesday you do these things, Thursday you do this, Friday you do this, and here are the different platforms and apps that you use to make that happen. So all
Awesome.
the answers are there in 2 infographics. And if you are interested in grabbing that for yourself, go to framework.agkmedia.studio and just give me your name and email, and I'm going to email you some really awesome materials along with the infographics that just make, like, oh, I'm going to print this out and put it up on my bulletin board because this is what I'm going to do for the rest of the next couple of months until it's part of your lifestyle and ingrained habits that just are fun and creative, and it's just you're a content marketer. Whee! So
Yeah.
suddenly you go from don't understand it to I get it to now I am one. So that's
Oh,
what it
that's
is.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
Oops.
for oh, hey, I'm all by my I'm all by my lonesome.
Just
So
pushing buttons.
Shelley's pushing
Scared you,
buttons
didn't
again.
I?
So um so I usually, as you know, I usually offer my newsletter, and I would encourage you. So here's the deal. If you are a newsletter subscriber, then for Women Conquer Business, I would say hang tight about what I'm about to say. So if you become a Women Conquer Business subscriber at womenconquerbiz.com/newsletter, I'm about to drop some knowledge on you and a big discount. But if you only want to be a podcast listener or watcher and you don't want to subscribe to Women Conquer Business, I am offering something, a big discount for podcast listeners who want to join Epiphany courses. That is at epiphanycourses.com/podcast. There is a special offer for podcast listeners and watchers that they can get into Epiphany courses at a special discount. We are finally opening the doors to Epiphany courses. We have changed that into being a membership. The membership doors are now open. And what we're offering today is 15% off, and that's off of either monthly or an annual subscription. Typically, it is $25 a month or $250 for the year. And today we're offering it for 15% off. And so please go to epiphanycourses.com/podcast for that special offer. And if you are a newsletter subscriber, you know, fasten your seatbelt because there's going to be a bigger deal coming out to newsletter subscribers.
Yay.
So please stay tuned for that. But we're very excited. We have built not only in Ghost a wonderful newsletter and all of the courses are now up in Epiphany courses. I think we have like 20 different courses up there now. Some are content, some are audio only, and some are video courses. We also have a full membership platform in Heartbeat where we can run cohort based courses and all different kinds of things through there. So that is super exciting as well. And like I said, it's typically $25 a month or $250 a year. That's probably our intro rate because this is an incredible deal at $25 a month. So what we're offering is 15% off for podcast listeners. So please go to epiphanycourses.com/podcast for your special deal.
All right. Very cool.
So if you like these courses, you're going to love it over there, basically.
I'm on the newsletter list. So I'm going to wait for that
Gonna
and
wait
see
for
what
that.
the big deal is.
Yeah. Can't wait. I can't wait to write it. I need to write that.
Tweaks. Are we ready
Tweaks
for
of the week? I'm ready for tweak of the week.
Okay, let's try that one more time. I got to figure out these buttons.
I know. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So last week, Shelley and I were talking about AppSumo and all of the things that we had bought during AppSumo. And I think at that time I hadn't bought anything during AppSumo days because I was trying to be a good kid and not do it. And then I was like, Shelley bought a lot of stuff, so I need to buy some stuff too. Because as you all know, what does Jen need? Jen needs more apps.
More apps.
Maybe. I want more apps. I always want more apps.
Okay, check them out. That way
I
you know which ones to recommend
I know.
and which ones not to.
This one, I love hate it.
Mm.
And you're gonna know why in just a second. Let me put this over here so I can share my screen. I have had my eye on this for a long time. This is called Rise, Rize, and it is rise.io. And I believe it's still on AppSumo. And so what is Rise? Well, Rise is a productivity app, and it takes and it goes against one of the things that I talk about, which is, a lot of I'm really into privacy. But it's encrypted, and the only person that can get to any of my data is me, and it's encrypted in transit and at rest, which is something you should look for before you have a program like this that is or can be somewhat intrusive. So what this is doing is it's tracking what I am doing. And this is why it's a love-hate. It's tracking what I'm doing throughout the day, and it's telling me how much time I'm spending in meetings, how much time I'm spending on breaks, video conferencing, marketing, and how much focus time. And so as you can see, one of the things in the chat, and I was like, I'm not going to talk about that, is that I haven't felt very focused. As you can see, there you go. 15% of my time is considered focus time in this app. Not very good. And I'm spending a lot of time in meetings. I don't know why it says I have so many breaks, but apparently maybe it's just time away from my computer because it doesn't read my mind or know what I'm doing. So I appreciate this. It's called rise.io. It is helping me make sure that I'm spending more quality time at the computer. If you find yourself browsing on social a lot, you'll find here marketing is not the same as social media. So I'm not spending a ton of time on social media. If you look, this week I've spent 18 minutes on social media. So I don't spend a ton of time on social media, and you shouldn't either. A lot of people don't believe me when I say I'm not on social media all day. Honestly, it's the social media automation magic that we just talked about that means that I don't have to spend as much time on social. And admittedly, many times on social, I am on my phone. So this is my tweak of the week. It's called rise.io. If you want to track your time, then this is the way to do it.
Beautiful. All right.
All right.
I don't have a tweak.
I saw that.
No, I'm tweakless.
So let's try this again. Inspirational nugget time.
There we go.
Magic.
Inspirational nugget for today comes once again from Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. And he said, whenever you have trouble getting up in the morning, remind yourself that you've been made by nature for the purpose of working with others, whereas even unthinking animals share sleeping. And it's our own natural purpose that is more fitting and more satisfying. So if you need an extra boost to get out of bed every morning, if you need something more than caffeine can offer, use this. People are depending on you. Your purpose is to help us, the grand us, to render this great work together. And we're waiting and excited for you to show up.
I love it. That's wonderful.
So get to work, people.
We'll be watching.
We're here to work together to make the world a better place to live for everybody.
That's right. Yay!
Yeah.
So make sure you get Shelley's framework. Check out Epiphany courses if you haven't already. And we will see you next week.
That's right. Have a great weekend. And here we go. Goodbye. Thank you for joining the Women Conquer Business podcast, hosted by Shelley Carney and Jen McFarland. Please subscribe and leave a comment or question regarding your most challenging content creation or business problem. Then share this podcast with family and friends so they can find the support they need to expand their brand and share their message with the world. Check the show notes for links to valuable resources and come back again next week.